Hi everyone, so in this tutorial I'm actually going to show you how to make a bow and apply it to the tutu. So this is what you'll need. I actually took some ribbon that I had left on the spool. I went ahead and took it off. So you'll need the ribbon that you're going to use. You're going to need some scissors, a hot glue gun, and you're going to need some thread. This is actually some embroidery floss that I had hanging off of one of my spools, and it's actually the color of part of the tutu, so it'll be just fine to use. If you're using like a pink or white, basically a bright color, do not use black thread. Do not use black thread. If you don't cut the thread low enough, and then you don't want to cut it too low or it'll unravel, but it's just, you don't want any of that thread showing through. So what I do is I take my ribbon and you just go right over each other. It's kind of like when you tie a shoe. You go crisscross, but you actually leave a loop there. And with this ribbon, this is 7/8 inch, so you don't want to make this part too big, because then it'll just be sitting there all floppy. So we're not actually going to make it that big. And what else I do is I take the tutu that I'm going to put it on, and I hold it on there to see how long that ribbon is. And you see that ribbon is way too long. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull it up. So, like I said, cross over, make that loop. It's like this. You take it this way, right over. Keep it crossed, keep it good and crossed. You hold it right there in the middle. You take this top part and you meet right there at the back by your finger. And you hold that in place. Now let's see how that looks on there. And that's actually a good length. If you want to make these loops bigger, you just pull this up and you scoot the back part over. Scoot the back part over. Up on this side, and the back side, scoot it over. Now what I always do to make sure that it's even is I fold right there where it crosses. And see how long that is. So as you can see, one side is longer than the other. So we're going to take the back of it and scoot it over. Now let's measure. It's still a little bit longer, so we're going to scoot a tad bit more. And that is good. Okay, so when you're holding it at a crisscross, you see how this side is kind of pooched up. So to get that, you're just gonna curve that. That's all you're gonna do. It's just a simple shift. You see, shift this way, shift that way, this way, that way. And that's how I actually like to do all of mine, so that when you put it on there, it's actually popped right up like that, and it's not flat down. So now what you're going to do is you're going to fold the middle, fold it towards each other. You see, you fold the middle and you kind of try to you grab the back of it just like that, and you fold down one more. This is actually called an accordion fold. So if you've ever folded paper like this when you were younger, or you do it now, you know what I'm talking about accordion fold. And then you're going to fold that over the bottom piece, fold it in towards each other, And then that end part that's sitting right there, you're just going to fold it right back. So, accordion fold. Now, what you do is you take your thread and you place it right there. Get as close to the middle as you can so it don't be a lot of adjusting if you tie it wrong. And now you're going to wrap it you're just going to wrap it around. Make sure it's nice and tight, but not too tight to where you can't shift the ribbon if you need to. Keep holding it so you don't let that go. So I'm going to wrap it around. Pull as you're wrapping to make sure that it stays tight. And what actually helps is when you hold it on this side, and you do that once you get a couple of loops around to make sure it doesn't unravel. You're just going to wrap, wrap, wrap. Now, pull tight. You see, you can scoot it over some if you need to. Now, we got that done. What you're going to do, I'll zoom in so you can see it as I place it down. You set this down. Take each side of the thread, trying to grab it, and you make a knot. Just a regular knot. So we're going to make a knot and tie it tight. Do not pull too hard or you'll break the thread. Scoot this back so you can see what I'm doing. And I do it at least about 2 or 3 times, depending on how thick the ribbon is, because I use anywhere between a 7/8 inch ribbon and a 2-inch ribbon. So now once you have that tied in, let me show you before I cut it. You have that tied in. Now we're going to cut the thread. Try to get as close as you can, but not too close. All right. Now, as you can see, this side is a little bigger. So remember when I said don't tighten it too tight to where you will not be able to adjust it. If you need to adjust it, you can. So you can see how I'm doing this. You just pull, just tug a little bit, not too hard. You don't want to unravel it, because all that hard work and you just unraveled it all. Alright, so now what I do with these parts down here, these pieces down here, I take them and put the wrong side together and I cut it. That's how you make sure they're even. Now you can cut the ribbon any way that you want at the bottom. You can do it this way to make fishtail, but the way I do it for tutus is, again, wrong sides together, and you cut at a slant. All right, so to cover up that ribbon, this is what you need to do. You're going to take that ribbon that you had left over from that you cut, and you're going to cut a certain amount. Now with this one, I didn't make a knot, and this is actually an order for my website. It's a Bambi birthday outfit. So you take that ribbon, you can fold that in half if you're not going to knot it. And what I always do is I actually put a small dot of glue right there so it doesn't slip, and I press it. Now, if your ribbon is thicker than this, you might want to take some glue and place it right in there. Not too much so it doesn't be bulky. Now, to attach it, I always okay, so this ribbon is actually a glitter gold. So I try my best not to put it on the gold. So I actually take it right there in between these two colors. And you take the bottom piece and you loop it through, you push it through one of the loops. So right here, there is a loop. So I'm going to actually pull that through. And you pull it over. Now I always add glue right here so it doesn't come apart. You don't need a lot because you don't want it everywhere. And I know that, okay, yes, it is long. Oh, it's going to overlap. But once that glue dries, which it's hot glue, it doesn't take very long, you're going to cut it down. Now, we're going to take that top piece and we're going to push it through one of the loops. And now, we're going to glue this side down to this side. If you want to, you can cut it right now. I always cut it afterwards just to make sure that I have it long enough. So you're going to take some glue, small dab, you do not need a lot. Fold it over and press. Now we're going to take the scissors. Remember, no running with scissors. Just a little humor. You're going to cut that excess off. Alright. So now we actually have the bow on. Let's scoot it back. And there you have it. Of course, I'm going to fluff it up some more, but this is just a basic tutorial on how to make a regular bow to put on a tutu. Alright, thank you all so much for watching. I hope I was able to help someone. And as usual, I hope whatever you make turns out great. Thank you, and bye-bye.